My name is Lynn. I am one of the artists working with Arts Milton on year 2 of the exclusively inclusive murals on Hugh Lane. We're here for a studio tour, so I'm going to show you a little bit of my workstation here, which is mostly digital, and then we'll take a look at my little studio space as well. So my projects always start in a physical sketchbook. Currently using this one, it's blue, it's got a nice textured cover, and I do my research, take notes, and start doodling. They don't always look this finished. This is pretty rare. They're usually more like this. Very rough. This is a super loose storyboard for an animation, and these are some really big thumbnails. Yeah, I start really loose, and I like to stick papers together to extend if I'm liking something I'm working on, but the scale wasn't quite right. Yeah, so it starts on my sketchbook first, and then once I have my ideas down and ready to put it together, I move on to my iPad. And my favorite programs to use on the iPad are Procreate for drawing and a little bit of animation, and I like Adobe Fresco when I'm using vectors. So this was my design for the Arts Milton ground murals. We each got 2 sections of the sidewalk to paint on, but I designed mine as one continuous image, more like a pair than like a series. Let me show you the time lapse of this process. So I'm pulling ideas from my sketchbook out onto the iPad and start putting in shapes. And once I'm happy with the composition, I go in and refine the drawing a little more. And then once that's done, then I start putting in colors. And I try to stick to a simplified or like a reduced palette for most public art projects. I feel like it reads a little better, and I wasn't always super comfortable working with color, and having a smaller palette helped. Yeah, it helped me get used to working with color, and as I've gotten more familiar and more bold with my choices, I've been able to add more and more variety to each project. And I recently got myself this sketchboard, which I can put my iPad in, and this is just a bigger drawing surface, so I can rest my arms when I'm drawing, and I can put the legs up so that the iPad is on an angle, so that when I'm drawing for hours on end, my back doesn't hurt from hunching over it. Yeah, it's pretty new, but so far I like it. Let's take you to the computer. So at my computer, my absolute favorite program to use is Adobe Illustrator. This is where I put together my proposals for projects that I want to work on, and also when I send off a design along with, you know, my description, what I want, what I envision for this project, the colors that I want to use, how I'm gonna mix them. I also sometimes include my reference images, so people viewing the application have really an idea of what I'm imagining in my head and how I'm translating that into my style. One of my favorite animals that you'll see reoccurring in a lot of my works are frogs or toads. In this case, the western chorus frog that lives around Milton. And my actual mural, he turned out a little more blue, but I tried to keep those distinctive stripes to show that's the western chorus frog. Frogs are recurring in my works, and they're also around me to inspire me. This is PJ. He's a little rain frog that sits at my desk and stares at me while I'm writing. He helps me think. And this is a book, an illustrated story by an illustrator I like. I believe this was done just with a ballpoint pen. It's got a really interesting format, very wide. But it's got these pretty simple, but really beautiful illustrations of a frog that goes on a journey to the ocean and back in his first year of life. These are toads, his friends, but the main character is a frog. I think inspiration can come from anywhere, from other stories, from personal experiences, from nature. On my other screen right now is a live stream of Katmai National Park in Alaska, and there's a lot of bears that go there to fatten up before the winter hibernation, and they've been really inspiring me lately, so I keep that on to watch them. I've also drawn one of the bears that are there on my mug. This is number 480 Otis. He's an old bear, and he's got a very distinctive floppy right ear. He's super cute. And this is 164, whose nickname is Bucky. He's a very goofy younger bear. Yeah. You'll see bears recurring a lot in my works too. Not these murals, but yeah, they've become their own series sort of within my public artworks. Yeah, my station here is mostly digital work. I have some drawing supplies, like here, I'll show you. So my studio is this little shed sort of in the backyard. Fair warning, it's very messy in there right now. It's being used more as a storage space than an actual working space. After a bunch of projects, things just accumulated and I haven't put it all away yet. And the ice cream truck just came by, so I have a cone with sprinkles on it for now. Okay, my studio. At some point it was super organized, or I tried to keep it organized, but it's gotten a little out of hand. Let me show you what's here right now. So this desk is currently being used as my paint like drying desk, so I can peel these out of the pots to dispose of better instead of when they're soaking wet. Up there is miscellaneous storage, mostly paper, rolls of paper here, frames on that side. This is all my smaller pots of exterior latex paint. Brushes are there, some tape, and my overhead projector that I use for animating. And then here I have pots of ink, screen printing ink, my little button maker, and fabric. And then on the side of the wall that you can't see are all my gallons of interior paint. This isn't super exciting, but is just a bunch of drawing materials, pencil, crayons, and some brushes I keep on hand when I need to work at my desk, but I try to keep the messy stuff in the studio. So you've seen this side, all my storage. I use this area for drawing shirts and fabric when I print on them. And there's exterior paint, some exterior paint that hasn't been organized, and then containers for paint, chalk, and then those are some more like mural supplies like rollers, paint trays. I use these on a cart to pack my supplies on the go, and then this is the mess. Lots of paper and pens and things I haven't put away. There are gallons of interior latex paint and some more frame storage in the back. Yeah, so the space isn't very big, and it's mostly being used as storage right now, but I try to do all my messy work in here, or if I need to set up like a project that can't be moved for a long period of time, and it won't, like, shouldn't be on my desk that I sit at every day. It stays in here so that it doesn't get touched or, you know, moved around while it's still in progress. So I don't really have a desk in here. I like sitting on the floor, so I have a big rug that's comfortable and a little coffee table that I draw on. And I've accumulated a lot of supplies, but a lot of these things are also really old. For example, there's a bin over here full of markers and pens, some soft pastels from probably when I was a kid, like a child. I still have these Crayola twistables, I think from probably elementary school, and they still work, and I still use these sometimes. Yeah, like this oil pastel set I remember getting when I must have been like 8 or 10 years old. I still have it. Yeah, a lot of things. I'm not super particular about types of materials that much. Sometimes, but most of the time I'm kind of a use anything that I have on hand sort of person. A lot of my storage bins are, I think this is from a vinegar container. I keep a lot of like food jars to hold my brushes. Yeah. My water jug when I go on mural projects is an old orange juice jug. It has a nice flip lid. It's easy to use on the go. Yeah. I'm not sure what else to show you. I'm pretty scrappy in the way that I like to use lots of different mediums. So I like to experiment and play. So I've tried a lot of things over the years, and yeah, pick the medium to suit the particular project that I'm working on at the time. Thanks so much for coming on this studio tour with me. I hope you enjoyed it. Please go check out the exclusively inclusive murals on Hugh Lane, and check out my gram murals titled Growing Here and There. And this is Junior. He's my very old Pomeranian. We'll see you around. Thank you.